Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. We're jumping right into a really fun storybook journey today, cracking open a fascinating 19th century philosophical mystery. The text is called The Ascent of Reason to the Infinite First Cause. Now, I know, that sounds like an incredibly big, complicated title, right? But seriously, don't let those giant words fool you for a second. It's actually just a massive detective story for our brains. It explores literally one of the biggest mysteries ever. Where does absolutely everything come from? We're going to use the clues hidden in this old text to solve the puzzle together.
So have you ever actually stopped and wondered who made everything around us? And I mean absolutely everything. The towering green trees outside your window, the twinkling stars way up in the night sky, your absolute favorite toys in the whole world, and, well, even you. It's a massive, gigantic question that philosophers have literally been trying to figure out for ages. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly how the author of our text begins to solve this ultimate mystery.
Section 1. Seeing things around us. According to Article 51 of our text, we don't start out just magically knowing all the secret answers of the universe. Instead, the author says our minds start learning through our physical senses. Think about how you learn every day. When you're a baby, you grab a fuzzy teddy bear, right? Or you look way up at a giant leafy green tree. Or, you play with your food, even when your parents definitely tell you not to. You're constantly touching, seeing, and playing. And the text tells us that this is exactly how our soul first gathers its very first clues about the universe. We kind of have to look at the ordinary things right in front of us before we can even begin to understand the really, really big mysteries.
Section 2. The Chain of Causes. Moving right along, Article 52 introduces us to a giant fancy word. That word is contingent. So a contingent being is something that does not contain in itself the reason for its existence. Okay, wow, that sounds incredibly complicated, doesn't it? But let's make it super simple. Just think about a toy car. A shiny red toy car can't just magically poof into the world all on its own, right? No way! It absolutely requires a toy maker to build it in a factory. The toy is contingent on the toy maker. And the text argues that the whole universe is actually full of contingent things that absolutely need makers.
Let's picture something you probably do at home all the time. Have you ever built a giant tower out of blocks? You carefully stack the red one, then the blue one, then the yellow one, balancing them perfectly until the tower is literally taller than you are. Keep that wonderful picture right there in your head. Because here's the thing, your block tower didn't build itself. The blocks didn't just magically hop out of the toy box, walk across the rug, and stack themselves up. The tower needed a cause. It needed you, the builder. The text argues that every single contingent thing in the world is just exactly like that block tower. It absolutely needs a cause to exist. Nothing that is made can make itself. It always, always needs a builder.
Section 3. The Very First Cause.
But this brings us to a huge question. If every block tower needs a builder, well, who built the builder? You might say your parents made you, but then who made your parents? Well, their parents. And who made them? If you keep going backward, down this endless chain of causes, where does it actually stop? This right here is the ultimate puzzle the author is trying to solve in Article 52. And the text reaches a major conclusion to solve this amazing puzzle. The author argues that the chain of builders just can't go backward forever and ever. Eventually, there must be a very first builder who wasn't built by anyone else. The text calls this the uncreated first cause. Think of it kind of like a giant line of dominoes stretching across the whole world. If they're all falling down, something had to be the very first domino to fall and start the whole chain reaction, right? That first push, that first spark that got the whole chain of the universe moving, that is the first cause.
Section 4. Perfect and without limits.
Now that the author has argued for a first cause, Article 53 gives us a roadmap to figure out what this mysterious first cause is actually like. The text gives us 3 philosophical steps. It's almost like a fun interactive checklist for our brains. Step 1, cause to effect. Step 2, exclusion. And Step 3, preeminence. Phew, okay, those are some really heavy words. Let's translate them so they make perfect sense.
Let's break those big words down into something super simple. First, cause to effect means that whatever good things the maker creates, the maker must also share. If the maker made beautiful colors, the maker must know beauty. Second, exclusion. This just means the maker totally excludes any defects or flaws.
Imagine drawing a beautiful picture with your crayons and never ever making a single mistake outside the lines. No mistakes, no limits. And third, preeminence. This means the maker has infinite goodness and beauty. So the text describes this first cause as having maximum goodness and absolutely zero flaws.
To summarize this whole checklist, the author concludes that the first cause is something called pure being. Think of pure being as having all the good stuff without any of the bad stuff. It's absolutely perfect, completely whole, and lacking absolutely nothing.
Section 5. Finite versus infinite.
In Articles 54 and 55, the text tries to explain exactly how special this first cause is by comparing it to us and the things around us. The author uses a very complex phrase, privation of being. But don't worry, we can totally understand this. Having a privation of being really just means having limits or edges. Imagine a sandbox at the playground. The sand is held in by those sturdy wooden walls. Those wooden walls are the sandbox's limits. The sand just can't go past them. Everything in our world has edges and limits, just exactly like that sandbox.
So here is the big contrast we need to understand. On one side we have finite. The sandbox is finite. A toy is finite. Even you are finite. It means having strict limits, edges, and needing to receive your existence from a maker. But on the other side is the infinite. The text argues the first cause is infinite. That means it has absolutely no edges, no wooden walls holding it in, and no boundaries at all. It is totally, completely independent.
The author actually argues against other philosophers here, like a man named John Locke. Now, Locke thought you could understand the infinite just by adding a huge bunch of limited things together. But our text says that's kind of silly. Think about it. If you take a sandbox and glue another sandbox to it, and another, you just get a really big sandbox. It still has wooden edges. You simply cannot build something infinite with no limits just by adding up things that have limits. The infinite is entirely different.
All right, put your listening ears on because this next quote from Article 56 is a big one. The author writes, "As the opposite of the finite is the infinite, so the opposite of the contingent is the necessary and absolute." This is where all these gigantic ideas finally connect. The author is saying that just like a limited, wooden sandbox is the total opposite of a universe with absolutely no edges, a toy that needs a toy maker is the total opposite of the first cause.
To simplify that huge quote, the text believes that the ultimate first cause, the absolute, exists just because of what it is. No builder required. It's the one and only thing in the entire mystery of the universe that doesn't need a cause, because it actually is the cause of absolutely everything else. Isn't that incredible?
So, we've solved the mystery, according to this 19th century text. We started with what we could touch and see, we looked at the endless chain of builders, and we arrived at an infinite first cause. I want to leave you with this final thought. Next time you build a toy or stack up a giant tower of blocks, ask yourself, what is the cause of this? Look at your own hands, and then look out at the whole wide world and keep asking those big questions. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible storybook journey. Keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.